Today we're going to talk about 2019, do a year recap, super chronic style, jumping right into the Farm Bill. That's what's been trending the most, legalization of CBD essentially. According to Green Markets Report CEO Deborah Burchard, she said this week's passage of the 2018 Farm Bill was huge for the industry on so many levels. Hemp legalization opens the floodgates for legal CBD and hemp-derived products, benefiting a range of industries, from industry to food to personal care. She goes on to say, I expect we'll see the valuations of companies that have focused on hemp-based products rise quickly. And I agree. So that jumps right into a Forbes article, predictions for Cannabis 2019 from entrepreneurs on the front lines, where Bethany Gomez, Director of Research at Brightfield Group, named the explosion of CBD products on the market as one of the year's biggest trends. No doubt. Tom Zuber, Managing Director of the law firm Zuber, Lawler, and Del Duca, was quoted as saying, "We see a year of increased M&A and consolidation activity ahead of the U.S. cannabis market." George Arcos, Chief Executive of Verano Holdings, said that the U.S. cannabis company's listings on Canadian stock exchanges was the most important trend for 2018. It's difficult for U.S.-based cannabis companies to access traditional capital due to federal government banking restrictions, so access to Canadian exchanges enabled those companies to fund investment. Verano Holdings, by the way, plans to be listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange in 2019. Alex Wassel, Chief Executive at Nixon Biopharma, he hopes that cannabis will come off the list of Schedule I substances in 2019 so it can be developed, studied, approved, regulated, and prescribed like any other true medicine. Thank you. Cannabis Business Executive website has 2019 trend predictions from the outside in. They cite beverages, fizzy, fortified, or otherwise, as being top of the list. Alt chocolates, like hazelnut chocolates, are going to be big for edibles. And then from a packaging standpoint, reducing waste, including recyclable and biodegradable. The global wellness experts at Well-To-Do released a 2019 Consumer Wellness Trends Report highlighting issues core to the cannabis business, such as mental and holistic health. According to NevadaBusiness.com, they have legal predictions for the 2019 marijuana industry. So last year they assumed, or I should say for 2018, they assumed there would be more publicly traded Canadian investors, yes, tighter regulatory control, and more entrepreneurial opportunities. For 2019, they're assuming there will be continued cannabis control commissions, greater regulation of CBD, and then their biggest one is banking reform. That's because tax revenues from marijuana have exceeded expectations and the industry has become profitable as a whole. Despite its success, legal cannabis transactions remain largely cash-based and banking is still a problem. While it's not illegal for those in the cannabis trade to open and maintain bank accounts, many banks refuse to serve cannabis commerce because the banks must comply with substantial federal and state regulations. Thus, because the marijuana industry will continue to grow, we predict that federal and state banking laws will be performed to permit cannabis operations to freely open bank accounts. Legal cannabis commerce will continue to be dynamic and entrepreneurial field for 2019. HealthyHempOil.com has 5 predictions for the cannabis industry in 2019. They assume or predict there will be big growth that leads to more jobs. Growing legalization means increased cannabis education. Cannabis will spread to other industries, will replace alcohol, and the federal government will consider cannabis legalization. It's big. So MJ Freeway has a top 10 predictions for the cannabis industry in 2019. They go with globalization. Consulting becomes data-driven. CBD standards emerge. Brands become real. Spain passes federal legalization, become the Colorado of Europe. Latin America production and export change the direction of the industry. Canada keeps doing their thing. Public and private funding gap widens. Consolidation accelerates. And then Trump helps cannabis through an executive action. So Leafly has an interesting crystal ball prediction that Congress will pass legalization next year. They cite the States Act, strengthening the 10th Amendment through entrusting states, along with other cannabis-related legislation that will likely pass no matter which political party controls Congress. Lawmakers also cited increasing public support, especially for medical cannabis, and decreasing fear among politicians about the negative consequences of being pro-cannabis. The Bipartisan Cannabis Caucus has seen its ranks swell during the work sessions, Blumenauer added, which demonstrates the potential for moving legislation forward. He thinks it's possible even if the Republicans can contain control, if the dam breaks, adding that more Republicans will begin co-sponsoring bills regardless. Quote, progress is inevitable. Marijuana.com posts that Whole Foods predicts hemp will be a top 10 product for 2019. And MoneyMorning.com asks if Walmart will sell cannabis in 2019. All interesting. Now we're going to dive into a recap from some interviews I did at the Dope Magazine Award, starting with David Tran, who thinks that consumption lounges are going to be the next big thing. Miggy 420, he's believing in mainstream CBD. Christian of Kush Tourism, all about that CBD and consumption lounges. Levi of LyonPride Music and Ariel of Leira Cannagar both believe in expansion, whereas Neil with Seattle Gear is all about the consumption lounges, CBD, and that whole cannabis economic expansion. And then Eddie with Dope Magazine wraps it up with the M&As, investments, and expansion. So dive into that. Let me know how it goes.
Hey, David Tran, man of the hour. In 2019, what do you see happening in the world of cannabis?
What do I see?
Yeah. Your crystal ball is hazy, it's smoky, it smells like fucking dank-ass weed, but you can see this crystal ball, and it's screaming at you what's going to happen in 2019. What the fuck is it saying?
I would love to be sitting here right here in a venue like this and have a joint right now.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to have a dab right now and be able to socialize with people and have a location in 2019. It's happening.
Yeah.
In California, it's happening. It's already approved already. It's going to set the pathway for me. Merging two of those things are just going to be the most amazing thing. And I went to New York. I went to a speakeasy, and it was amazing.
This might be a leading question, but do you think that the hemp bill that just got passed will have CBD samples and places that you can go and essentially open the door for that cafe?
Yeah, I hope so. I think they're doing it already. I was just over in New York, and Buddy's a local really popular restaurant was asking if you want to infuse CBD into your coffee. Yeah. And it's a huge deal over there, and I think the culture of it is going to continue to spread out, and people are going to look at it as a supplement to whatever they're doing. You know, ginseng, grass leaf, add some CBD to it. And a lot of the time, yeah, it's definitely a statement.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amen.
You're here with Miguel, Miggy 420. You're looking at your crystal ball. It's a little hazy, but you're able to see the future. And what's it telling you?
CBD. That's gonna be the new shitstorm for next year. With that new hemp bill, the FDA just said, yeah, that's a fast. So it's gonna be a new political shitstorm.
I have not heard that part of the saga, so that's interesting. But definitely everything CBD. Walmart wants it in Canada, kind of going all over the place.
The FDA issued. They said they already issued warnings prior, and they're going to continue doing so because the CBD still is small.
So how do companies brand or differentiate what's going to be the deciding factor on who lives and who doesn't make it?
They can't promote health. They can't promote cures. But if you just say I'm a CBD company, I think it'll be a good sign.
So I'm sitting here with Christian on the LyonPride bus out in front of Dope Industry Party. I'm sitting here with Christian of Kush Marketplace. Talk to me about events. Where do you see cannabis cafes and everything else coming in light due to the hemp bill that just passed? You're going to have CBD sampling.
That's going to be nice. It's not what I do see, it's what I hope to see. And what I hope to see is that there's more acceptance of the actual like cannabis side of things, the THC side of things. We get more acceptance as like with alcohol. So like we have bars out, we have buses, we can have open areas where people can, consume safely.
And if we're going to recap 2018, what was the new neat niche thing that you saw for the year? What was worth repeating?
Federal legalization was the coolest thing I saw in 2018. And it happened today. Like, our whole office sat down and watched as the bill got signed.
For CBD.
Yeah, well, the Farm Bill, yeah. To let hemp be federally legalized.
Right.
That was really cool.
Good shit. Love it.
That
We're
was
out.
great.
All right, chilling here with Levi, LyonPride. 2019, man. Levi, what do you see? What's happening in your crystal ball?
I'm always positive, I'm always excited for the future. 2019 should be fun. Be a bunch of great networking, a bunch of big festivals, 30 plus festivals in 2019, a couple cross country road trips in the big tour bus. Should be fun.
Anything that's going to be crazy? Obviously, we just had like Budweiser, Corona. I mean, what's next? Like, how crazy could 2019 be?
Yeah. I think the momentum's just gonna keep driving forward. We got 6 buses now, so we're trying to prep up and just prime for it, and just be as prepared as possible because we all know where it's going.
So you're literally saying that you are driving the path of this legalization and the movement.
Just trying to help normalize it, right? The more people see the cannabis bus around, it's the more normal it becomes. And of course, we're just trying to promote and advocate for safety. I don't think there's enough education about designated driving and sober driving going on around. So we're just trying to help create some awareness there too.
Cool. Well, keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to go to your bus and get high.
Woo!
Thanks, Levi.
All right, brother.
Word.
What's up?
Peace. So I'm chilling here with Ariel, founder of Leira, Cannagar. You're seeing 2019 in a crystal ball. Like, what do you see?
What I see?
That's it. Next year, what's happening? What's hot? What's new? What's niche? What's neat? What's going to happen?
What's going to
You
happen?
got a crystal ball.
I see
It's
weed
the
being
future.
legalized in 10 more states. Lyra's going to be everywhere. Well, Lyra's going to be in California and Las Vegas for sure. Maybe New York too.
With Neil with Seattle here. Neil, your crystal ball for 2019. Tell me.
I'm seeing consumption lounges. I'm seeing just expansion of the hemp industry booming. I'm seeing locally made hemp products. I'm just seeing an industry that's booming.
Glorious year.
You see a lot of outside money coming in, kind of going to be a little scary. People kind of looking at 2020 as their scapegoat of legalizing cannabis and starting that old boy.
Brilliant. We're out.